Hello, everybody. I hope that your weekend is getting off to a great start and your week as well. So good to see you today. We're going to have a special lighting of the candles here in just a moment, a chance for us to all kind of come together and set intentions and make sure that everything is kind of going in the right direction. So we'll do that in just a moment. I'd like to introduce myself first. My name is Nicholas Ashbaugh. You're tuning into a weekly collective reading. Everybody is welcome here today. And this is basically very different from all my monthly readings because, as you see, I have a format here where we'll take a look at the next 7 days. But there's a lot of other things that we're going to be doing here to kind of unlock potential. You guys voted on a really great topic this week, which is to kind of imagine that a future version of yourself could come through and give you advice. It's one that I've done a few times, and it almost invariably wins the poll. A time-traveling telegram, advice from a future you. So as I look at the main spread in a little bit here, it's usually the second portion of the reading, we'll look at it through the lens of what if I did it this way, or what if I knew this going into the next big part of my life. So you guys made a great choice, and I can't wait to see how that kind of pans out. The whole forecast is kind of laid out here for you. We'll start with channeled messages. We'll move on to the 7-day forecast. Then we look at blessings and blocks. Usually I throw out a viewer poll at the same time. We'll look at an elemental breakdown. This is the one part where you'll actually be focusing on sign-specific information. So fire, earth, air, and water. Basically, that's a portion where you can get something for your sun, rising, and moon signs. And then the rest of this is all for everybody here. We'll do the special topic after that. And then at the very end, always a meditation, always a final word. Let's go ahead and begin with something super important to metaphysical practice, which is to set intentions. And I'm going to set the intention today to connect to the highest good, put some protection in place. Every now and then I do this. Today I had so much information coming from dreams that even now that I type up instead of write up the cards, it took a while to bring it together. So I thought, well, let's do this part, as a group. I think you liked it last time, so let's do it again. So I have 4 candles on the wall, and then I have 1 candle right over here. And I'm going to bring it a little closer so you can hear me. But for the first candle, let's set the intention here to connect to source. So for each and every one of us, source may be something different. It may be something you call God. It may be just that divine energy that you connect with. However you connect with that, whatever you call it, let's set the intention right now to tune into that highest good and allow it to bring through messages for all of us today. Again, keeping the connection to the source energy. All right, I'm going to place that over here. And before I go over, I'll speak here because I'm closer to the mic. Usually I like to call in 4 archangels. I work with Michael, Uriel, Gabriel, Raphael. You can work with any sort of ascended master you would like. The main focus here is to keep your channel clear, to pull in protection, and to get some additional guidance along the way, okay? So we'll begin over here. Looks like I need some new candles today, so you're getting behind the scenes look here. Let me go ahead and put the new candles in as well. Very important to always make sure that they're real candles too, not the electronic ones. All right, so the first angel that I work with is Archangel Michael, and we want to ask Archangel Michael for protection from anything that is not of the highest light, and basically protection so that we can open up and receive today. So thank you, Archangel Michael, for hearing our prayer, for being present, and for helping us with that intention. The next archangel I'd like to work with is Gabriel. Now that we have the protection in place, I'd like to ask for connection to the highest good, allowing me to be a clear channel, removing any sort of biases, removing any sort of distractions. So that's Gabriel. Thank you, Gabriel. I like to work with Uriel because it's an angel that is very straightforward. So if there's something that we need to see or hear, please help us with that, Uriel. Uriel is also really good at helping with technology, for me anyway, and just sort of like organization. So thank you, Uriel, for your assistance here. And so finally, we're going to work with, let's see, we did Michael, Gabriel, Uriel. So Raphael for healing, since we do have meditations. And I really like all the messages to have healing energy as we go through them. So that's each and every one of those candles laid in place. I don't always do this, but I do think it's important to show that we should set intention when we're doing metaphysical work, and that's an example of that. So give me 1 second here to get set up. I just want to also put my monitor to the side to make sure that you and I are seeing the same thing, and we'll get started. All right, so with all of that being said, again, my name is Nicholas Ashbaugh. We're going to get started here, and we're going to begin with channeled messages. As I said a couple moments ago, the channeled messages are, to me, today actually, I was up most of the night getting messages in dreams and in sleep. And for me, they come through as kind of like tarot cards, almost like the symbols that you and I see. So let's go ahead and talk about those. I'm just going to pull my monitor up so I can see what you're seeing, and now let's get started here. So I'm going to do a picture-in-picture and kind of walk you through. Normally when I have a channel message, I will pull one sort of totem. Today, Spirit just wanted to come through and give us messages, so it's going to be a slightly different approach today. So we'll be looking at several different messages from Spirit, ranging from all of these that you see below here, the sort of wiseful energy of a sophomore, understanding that like the Hierophant, you have the key within you, belief and faith allowing your dreams to take flight, the sort of winding road of the heart, and pruning and releasing things. We'll get into all of these. So give me a second here to move into the first card. So I remember this actually from school, and I think it was when I was a sophomore in high school or in college, this was brought about, the origins of the word sophomore. It comes from a couple of Greek words combining wisdom and the foolishness, or the sort of the ability to kind of walk into something new. I guess properly here you would also maybe put the Emperor card, because it would be a combination of the two, probably. But the Fool is the piece that I wanted to focus on. And for many of you, this is a reminder that although you may have lived many lifetimes, this is your first time in this one. And the challenge sometimes is, how can you access the wisdom from the past without letting some of the fear, some of the frustration, some of the other stuff get in the way? The Fool card allows us to just be ourselves, right? To just walk into the unknown and think, I can handle this. Whatever's going to happen is what's going to happen, and I'm not afraid. So I think here the Fool is encouraging you to take the leap of faith, but to use the common sense and the knowledge from the past, even this past life here, and as a child, where you've made a mistake or you've learned something and you're like, I'm not going to repeat that lesson. That one was a kind of difficult one. I know what to do, and I'm not afraid that it's going to always be that way. I'm going to have to kind of untether myself, right? So as your wise Fool here, basically it's kind of trying to show you it's time to turn a new corner. You're going to do it with great ease and aplomb this time, because you have both that wisdom, but also hopefully you haven't forgotten how fun it is to explore. When I think back to school, particularly when you choose your path, if you go for higher education or if you go for training or apprenticeship or some sort of skill acquisition somewhere where it's like, I'm going to pay for this and I want to learn it. Suddenly it's much more impactful because it was your choice. And in that moment, you get to be selfish in the best way, because you're working on building up a firm foundation. So in this week ahead and month ahead, I would say it's going to be really important for you to try to have fun and roll with the punches a little bit and take each day kind of like the Fool would, as an adventure. Okay? So that's one thing here. Rebirth, a brand new path. You may also be meeting someone in your travels who kind of combines that energy. It could be someone who is not acting their age, but perhaps in a really good way. It could be someone who's older and has this youthful spirit. It could be someone who is young and has wisdom that belies their age. Either way, I like the energy of the sophomore, and it feels like you're either embodying it or someone around you is embodying it. For any of you that are actually sophomores, keep pushing through. That's basically what this card is telling you. All right. You hold the key. Again, a big part of dreams last night was about classes and lessons and a stage in life. And I actually did ask when I was trying to figure out where I am, I said, what grade am I in, or what am I? And they said, you're a sophomore. So I was like, thank you, that helps. I had what looked like car keys, but I couldn't find a car. I actually was doing a lot of searching for a vehicle, for a mode of transportation. And ultimately, I just kind of closed my eyes and I thought, I know where I need to go. And I started to fly. And I realized that the key was more like an epiphany within, that many of us hold the keys to the answer, the keys to our own knowledge. We just have to kind of apply it differently. So the sophomoric energy comes through to help you look at it from a different point of view. The Hierophant comes through to help you structure it, but you're really going to be more of the Hierophant in reverse, which is coming up with taking the best of the old and the new and trying something different, surprising people a little bit. So take that leap of faith, the energy from the Fool, and go against the status quo. But to do that, you have to know how to navigate it and why you need to challenge the status quo. So we see this sort of evolution and a chance for you to kind of push through something and surprise people in a really positive way. All right. When I was understanding the key to flight, it was belief. So if I didn't believe in myself, I wasn't going to go anywhere. I also noticed that disbelief not only would deflate the ability to fly, but it also was like invisibility. So people who don't believe wouldn't see you. If you don't believe in your dreams, you're not going to see it through. It's not going to happen. And people won't want to invest in that. They won't see you as the person for that. So your belief is the key to manifestation. Believing is seeing, not the other way around. Kindred spirits, the ones that you truly have been trying to pull in, those are the ones that you want to keep in your life. If they see you and they support you, no matter how wild your dream is, that's a keeper energetically. And that's going to be important as you kind of discern who to invest in, where to invest your time and energy, etc. Okay? I was also shown the sort of interstate system, and it could be anywhere on the earth because I was so far and high above that I couldn't quite see where it was. It reminded me of the branches of the heart, like the arteries that kind of feed into it, and the kind of the sort of all the veins in our body. And for many of us, we might be somewhere like in the outer expanse or very close to it. And Spirit was trying to remind me not to lose the heart. So you're not lost if you are like feeding that heart. But if you're kind of out here searching and forgetting what you're doing, this is basically a reminder to get back into that heart-centered approach, okay? Also, I'm going to talk about this in a future podcast, but I was there with a loved one, and there was some very important messages that they were conveying to me. But a piece of this that I wanted to share with you is that you're never lost if you have good company. If you like who's sitting next to you, then you're already ahead of the game compared to most people. So really focus on the company that you're keeping. And if it's good company, like I said before, especially if people know and trust and see the same thing that you do, then you're rich, actually. Also, answers often come to you when you're kind of in that winding space of the road. So sometimes you need the time and the space, just like the Eight of Cups. You need to walk away a little bit to get perspective, and then you come back to the heart. Okay, so that's the winding sort of message of the heart. You're not truly lost. You can always come back, but you have to remember what it is you're trying to do. And if the heart isn't part of this, it needs to become a part of it in like what you're studying, what you're working, who you're with, what you're doing in your overarching life purpose. And if you haven't given yourself time to think about it, that's your homework assignment for meditation this week. Growth also comes in places that you least expect. I was shown a metaphor of like a house, which isn't just a house. It's our foundation. It's the people that we love. It's how we're spending our time. And this metaphor of the house had a vine that was kind of working its way through hidden places that you wouldn't see. The only time that my attention went to the vine was when I saw the flowers starting to open up. New ideas are kind of like whoever scattered the seeds that created that vine. They kind of take root when you're not paying attention, and then all of a sudden you look and it's everywhere. So the same invisibility cloak that came from disbelief can also come in growth. We don't notice the change until it's so abundantly obvious that it's sort of like, slapping us in the face. So I want you to tune in a little bit. And this is a kind of a good news message. You're probably trending much closer to your goals than you think. And there may be something ripe for the picking, figuratively speaking, an opportunity, an idea, something that's within reach. And then all of a sudden, it just continues to grow from there. So really beautiful messages, really figurative language that I normally wouldn't get. And it wasn't a singular totem. It's almost like Spirit was beating a drum, and I had all of these things that I had to keep kind of like writing in my phone. So I was up a lot last night getting all of these messages, and hopefully they resonate with you. The final message that I have for you is that to grow, it's necessary to prune. Anybody that raises things like roses or maybe even certain types of trees, you realize that like a ficus tree, you have to prune them sometimes, or they get so big that they almost, it's almost like they strangle themselves out. Nothing else can grow around them. So a lot of times with a ficus tree, you'll see that people thin it out so that light can get through, so that the grass can grow underneath and things like that. And for roses, that pruning actually brings about growth. So new flowers. And it also can sometimes get leggy or go in the wrong places. So in your own life, there are things that fit, there are things that don't fit. The pruning will not leave you wanting for more. It's going to allow you to grow in places that you never imagined that you could, right? So be the wise fool and you will succeed. Try some new, mix it with some of the old, and put your own sort of special spice or special sauce in that, and you'll be surprised. That's your own take on something, okay? That was exciting, and that was different today. Today we definitely had some messages and some types of energy that I haven't seen in a while. So that tells me that the whole reading today is going to be kind of special. So thank you for bringing that today. It really depends on who you are and what you're bringing in each and every reading, okay? So just a reminder, if you just joined, we just got through the channel messages. Now we're going to work through the 7-day forecast. The 7-day forecast is going to take us from Sunday to Sunday. Let me get set up here. I'm going to use my, traditional, I really like the Afro Goddess deck for Sunday to Sunday reading, so I'm going to kind of stick with that for today. And then when we get to the main forecast, I'll give you a chance to vote unless I'm called to read with a particular deck. All right, so let's go ahead and take a look at the desk here, and we're going to get started. This is going to be for everybody present. Again, we'll get into elemental energy in just a second where we look at all the different signs. But for now, everybody present, the word's collective, this is going to be for you. So that's today, Sunday. We'll look at Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. We'll go to next weekend here as well. Saturday and Sunday. We have kind of bonus card, which I'll put out to the side and we'll talk about it. Okay, so let's look at this energy first. Looking at today, looking at next week, and occasionally a bonus card comes out. All right, so we're going to begin with the energy of today, which is the Hanged Man. So let's start with that. So we've got the Hanged Man kicking things off today. And this Hanged Man card is beautiful because we actually see the energy of the Ankh tracing its way through this. And this is reminding you, like, a big part of what I've been talking about today is the ability to be more powerful than you might imagine. Timing is at hand. So today I really want you to be patient with yourself. Sometimes when we have the Hanged Man, there's this desire to rush through, to fast forward and get to the next big thing, whatever that next big thing might be. I think for you, you really want to be focusing on understanding why it is that you're at this point in time. A way that we could kind of phrase this that would help you is that there are no accidents. Everything you've kind of called into existence, and you can view them as lessons or opportunities. So in this particular lesson, the one that's bringing in the Hanged Man, I would say you're being asked to pause before you repeat a cycle or repeat a lesson which the universe thinks you should have learned. It's time. So much of what I was studying or looking in my dreams was about studying and learning. And I feel like you're actually beyond the sophomore. You're ready to graduate something, but you have a choice. Are you going to repeat or are you going to release? And that's what the Hanged Man is coming through, and that's why it's coming through for today. So whether you're watching this live on Sunday or you're looking at it later in the week, or if you're just happening upon this at a later point in time, this first message is saying, if you're ready to let something go, that's all you have to kind of to do is to understand, like, what didn't work before, and do I really want to do that again? You could have a second chance. Someone could come into your life and say, hey, I want to give us a second chance, or we made a mistake when we fired you, or hey, I wish we hadn't lost touch. Whatever it is, I get that there was a little bit of a waning or a falling away. And for you, the choice right now is this good enough for me? Does this feel like it's good enough for me? Do I want something more? All right. So that's the Hanged Man. And I always like to remind people as we look at this card that it is about knowledge. This is basically Odin gaining the knowledge of the tree, not the tree of life, but the runes. So he had to hang upside down for about a week or so to kind of understand the secrets to the universe. So for many of you, there may just be a little bit of a waiting period that's hanging over this week, but there's some really great energy. And I feel like Monday, we're kicking it off with the Death card, so things are going to start to shift pretty quickly. So we have Death, and what is it? the Ankh, right? One more time here, right? So we see the Ankh in the tree here. Now we have the Ankh symbol here in the gown that she's wearing. And that's an Egyptian symbol, which signifies eternal life, or being able to kind of rise again, which is part of what I was talking about too with the sophomore energy, or the wise fool. So the fool is a reset energetically. And this particular card is showing you that if you're willing to let go, then there's something new coming in. Walk away from the old cycle, embark on something new. Looking at the card a little closer up, it's actually quite beautiful. And I'm noticing all of the growth on this death card, which you don't always see. So you see she's kind of, we have death here personified as a woman, and we see all of this beautiful growth. Sorry, I'm trying to do it backwards here. So we see all of the growth here on this side. And if we go really close, you can actually see the same sort of heart-centered green energy coming through as well. So this card is reminding us that we never truly die. We only begin again, begin anew. So on Monday, you have a chance to start something fresh. But to do that, you have to let go of something that you've been holding on to. Maybe you were expecting things to happen by a certain date. There was a deadline. There was something around that. Maybe you've been kind of holding on to someone that you hoped would have come through in a certain way. The main thing that we're getting as I'm looking at this is that in order to open up the heart-centric energy here of the Daughter of Cups, or the Page of Cups, you have to release. So I see a lot of change coming through. Your patience and your desire for something to shift is answered as we get into Monday. And so what should you do on Monday? Begin something new, wrap up old business, really sort of like reset expectations, okay? All right, let's move on to Tuesday. Tuesday is one of the best days of the week. I mean, you actually have 3 days in a row, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, that are looking stellar here. We have Daughter of Cups, Daughter of Wands, and the Star. So Thursday's your power day. Actually, yeah, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. And Friday is a day where we're going to do a little bit of inner searching, and we'll talk more about that in a second. Let's begin with the Daughter of Cups. So I like to remind people that chalices, cups, whatever you want to call it, they're always like satellite dishes. So the main question here is, are you ready? If someone were to come to you and say, hey, I think that you're the perfect person for this, or I believe in you, or do you want to do this? Sometimes we have that moment of disbelief, which I've been talking about, it feels like a lot this month. So I don't want you to disbelieve it. I want you to believe it. Today, I actually this month we've been talking about the Judgment card quite a bit. Judgment can also be projections and everything. I feel like now, thank goodness, it looks like we've progressed beyond the Judgment energy, and now it's just a matter of, it's there, what are you going to do about it? So on Tuesday, that's the message. Something's right in front of you. Are you going to take it? Are you going to bring that forth in a way that matters to you? You can always say no, but it looks like whatever's being offered comes from the heart. So whether that's an invitation to a party, whether that's an invitation for love, or it's an opportunity for work, cups, an offering can come in so many different ways. And an offering can also be something that you want to give to the world. And when we have something beautiful like this card coming through, then that offer is probably going to be received as well, as long as it's coming from an open, heartfelt space, okay? So Tuesday's a great day to give and receive when it comes to news, energy, and information. You're definitely set up in a really powerful space, okay? I am just looking at her awe and surprise on this, so I want you to not be so surprised. You worked to make this happen, right? So really enjoy what you've breathed life into and take it to the next level. Great day for meeting new people. Great day for healing or improving relationships, because basically a page card is receptivity, and especially when it's cups. So I like what I see. Could be Pisces too. I'm looking at the little fish there. All right, so moving on to the next card here. We've done Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. Wednesday's next. Daughter of Wands, fantastic energy. Again, daughters are pages in this deck. So now we're taking what's in the heart and we're kind of using that to form our ideas. It's also about taking that and demonstrating it to someone. So I look at, swords as a very sort of expressive language when it comes to like speaking, writing, things like that. But wands, you can kind of show it. So some people are visual learners. Some people need the sort of optical feedback in order to believe. You're a little different because I've been tuning into your energy and I feel like you see it and believe it. You just have to kind of find a way to bring it down to earth. So even though we're looking at fire, you're going to probably have to mix some earth into it to bring it into a sort of tangible space. We've got the other elements here, but we're missing that. So bring in a little bit of grounding, and I think that's going to help as well. And then just show it, show some examples, see how other people react to that. Let's look at the card a little bit closer. We also see some of that beautiful growth, and we see the vine around the wand that I was talking about. So you may not see it fully take root right now, but trust in this. Maybe all you have to do is plant the seed. Thinking of like Inception as a movie. They didn't have to all they were doing were they would plant a seed of doubt or of inspiration or of whatever in someone's mind. The seed took its own basically took on its own life and energy, and then basically helped people come into a new sort of epiphany. So all you need to do as we look at the midweek Wednesday is to focus on planting the seed. You're letting something go, starting something new. You're accepting or receiving some information. You're applying it and planting that cognitive seed on Wednesday. And if someone offers you something, you may need time for that to germinate, for it to make sense, okay? So this is a very good day for thinking through things and talking through things. As we look here at Thursday, this is your sweet spot. We have the star. So all of the energy here, the acquisition of knowledge and the patience that you've been working on, the ability to step through the portal, which is really Monday, to open up your heart, open up your mind, it all pays off when we get to Thursday. Let's look at the card up close. So a lot of times this can indicate an Aquarius in your life as well, or if you're an Aquarius, this can be a really great day for you. But all of us can connect to the star card, and this is saying, I know who I am. I'm not going to hide, to dumb down, to somehow mute any of my light, because I truly trust and see that, and I'm ready and willing to sort of take the heat for whatever this is, because this is me, and look at how hard I've had to work to come to this moment in time. So I'm just really encouraging you to step into the spotlight. That's what the star is saying. You have the star power, you have the capacity to really do something special. So this doesn't come along often. When it does, you want to really jump in and do something with it. So this is your power day. You can make a difference. You can be seen even if someone else is talking. If you have something you need to share, if you're negotiating, your point of view, your energy, it's still going to come through really strong. So whether you're leading or following, whether you are dreaming or doing, this is a day where everything is coming into focus for you, okay? Friday is a little challenging for some of you, but I really do like it when we get an Eight of Swords reversed. The Eight of Swords reversed is the opposite of what we would normally see in this energy, which is, who am I? Where am I? What's going on? Or that took me by surprise. You actually are anticipating something coming. And based on what I've been looking at here in the spread, you're an active participant in making it happen. You're starting it here, and you're really capitalizing on it here. So what I see with this card is other people may have underestimated you. And because of this underestimation, they're like, where did that voice come? Where did that vision come from? Who are you? You're just really showing them your true colors. So I actually see this as a continuation of the star card, just expressed in a different way, taking people by surprise, using the element and the energy of surprise to wow yourself and to wow others. It's a good week for everybody, really. The only challenging thing here is that depending on you, change can be sort of different for all of us. Some of us are really comfortable with the energy of change. Some of us need a predictability. And it really feels like if you can go with the flow this week, that energetic flow is taking you to a really exciting space. Let's slide the cards up a little bit and take a look at what's coming through for the weekend. And then we got a bonus card, and I'll talk about that. So let's start first with a preview for next Saturday. Seven of Pentacles reversed. Seven of Pentacles in this particular illustration, first of all, it shows recovery, but there's always in this recovery a fear of repetition of the past. So I feel like we covered that in a really good way when we were looking at the Hanged Man. You have a chance to reevaluate, to understand, and to think, all right, been there, done that. I'm better for the experience. There's usually a final test that comes through with the Seven of Pentacles, and it asks us, if presented the same thing, what would you do? Typically, there's an encouragement with the Seven of Pentacles to simply say no, too. So sometimes we are too keen on making everybody everybody happy rather, and trying to make everything happen at the same time. And this is reminding you to sort of pace yourself. Don't pull yourself too thin. When it comes to money and all sort of resources in our life, this is about, again, understanding that what tripped us up before, but it's not going to happen again, okay? So just not overdoing it is going to be the key thing. When you look at your body, for those of you that might be going through any sort of recovery of any sort, emotional, physical, spiritual, easy does it. Slow and steady wins the race, and you're getting there. And I see a little bit of shyness or a little bit of uncertainty here, but I'm focusing on the growth. One thing that's missing, I love this deck, but there is one important piece with the traditional Rider-Waite-Smith illustration. And there's a guy that's impatient, and he's kind of like crossing his arms and looking at this vine or this bush or this tree growing and thinking, why is it taking so long? It's taking so long because a lot of times the universe is just setting up all the chess pieces so that you can win. Wants to set you up for success, right? And you don't want to push it. And that's actually the message for a week from now when we look at next Sunday. I want you to actually be at the 6 of Wands, not the 7 of Wands. 7 of Wands is when sometimes you have to defend yourself. Sometimes you're pushing a little bit too much. And the encouragement right now is to not feel like you have to do that. As you start to change, move, and evolve, a lot of times people will put you in the hot seat and say, well, like, where did this come from? Or why suddenly are you interested in this? And the important thing with this 7 of Wands is you really don't owe them an explanation, but if you can explain it to them, you can actually get further on into the 8 of Wands and get back to work. So I either want to see you at the 6 of Wands, success and confidence, or the 8 of Wands, productivity and this sort of like ongoing energetic movement, rather than wasting time trying to push people or convince people or somehow try to manipulate things. You don't have time for that, actually. So when we're looking at the weekend, conservation of resources, super important. Also, not feeling like you have to fight every battle or explain everything away. Delegate as well. You don't have to do all this stuff, right? I think that's so important. So limits are the main thing that I'm seeing when I look at next weekend. There's so much time between now and then that you can really affect this positively. But so far, you've got great cards this week. Nothing that I'm seeing is extremely troublesome. The only thing here that's difficult would probably be navigating through death and the Hanged Man, because I actually don't mind these cards. This is just something coming to an end, some sort of energy coming to an end, and you realizing that. So I see a reclamation of power here, but you have to kind of like work through some of this other stuff first. All right, let's look at the bonus card that we got here. So the bonus card is the King of Wands in reverse. I love King and Queen of Wands because they're among the most powerful energies in tarot. They can basically will something into existence just through their engineering, their intuition, and their stubbornness. So this is definitely stubborn energy when it's reversed. He's the ultimate stubborn card reversed. But sometimes there's something really good about holding on to a vision, holding on to a clear sort of path. So as a leader, it's okay sometimes to be sort of headstrong, confident, and stubborn because the team, the family, the group behind you is looking at you and wanting you to kind of have that confidence. Just be open. This is sort of even a preview of what's coming through beyond the week ahead. And so one energy that you're already affecting in the next week is open-mindedness. And you can start to plant the seeds and work on that way before we do the next collective. Okay? So really great energy, really great stuff coming through for you. I forgot to mention how you can connect with me. Let's do that right now as I'm kind of stacking these cards up here. First of all, if you like what you see here, please show some support. The easiest way to do that is to hit the like button. You can only do it once per video, but it certainly does help. If you're watching on replay, tell me what you like about this. Put some comments below, even if it's some emojis, I don't care. Do that on the replay, and that helps other people discover the channel. And then, of course, if you've been a longtime viewer but never subscribed, it doesn't make any sense because it doesn't cost anything and it actually hurts the channel. So help me out, hit the subscribe button if you've never subscribed, and thank you for doing that. It really does support me more than you know. On social networks, you can follow me. I'm basically Nicholas Ashbaugh, just around everywhere. You can see Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and Patreon, all the same, as well as YouTube. And then Twitter, it's Ashbaugh. And thank you already to the folks that have given super stickers and super chats. It really does help as well. It's a nice way to do it as a one time, and I'll say thank you at the end. Thanks to Dakota and Maria for helping out today as well. Let's look at our schedule here and see what's next. We're going to look at blessings and blocks, 2 cards to really kind of summarize what's available to us. So while I'm kind of sticking in the same energy of the Afro Goddess deck, I'm going to pull the sort of oracle deck that goes with it. Okay, so let's take a look now at blessings and blocks. We're going to focus on something to embrace and maybe something to try to avoid. Oh, I like what I see so far. Okay, got some great energy here for the blessings and the blocks. So the blessing is the ring and the block is the ship. Let's talk about it one by one. All right. So with the blessing card, with this beautiful ring energy, I want to pull it up to the camera real quick so you can see it. Many of you may be actually pulling in something that is unexpected, a new partnership. There could be also a contract or a promise that's being made. The important thing with this is to focus on only making contracts, promises, or starting something that you're willing to finish and see through. So this person expects you to be there and you may expect someone else to be there. The blessing is, I do think it's a kindred spirit. So if you've been looking for a special connection, particularly if it comes to maybe a work collaboration, or if you're trying to do something in your life and you've been trying to find an expert, you're probably going to find that missing piece, that key. The other thing here is you could be surprised that someone else sees that in you. So don't be surprised. You get to say yes or no. This is like an engagement, and that woman there is saying, well, let me think about it. So I want you to think just like her. You don't have to immediately put that ring on your finger. You really want to think about whether it's marriage or business or any contract. You know, we are, at the end of our lives, we're only as good as our promises and our word and our reputation, and it's hard to kind of like rebuild that. So really make sure that you're keeping your promises. But I do feel like there is something hopeful, and there is someone that's interested in connecting with you or contracting your services, or if it's a proposal, they want to date you. There's something really nice about this. There's an openness. And when we were looking at the cards, we got that we got 2 pages, right? The Page of Cups and the Page of Wands. So right around the midweek point is when some of this energy is going to come through for you. So that's a blessing. It's a good one. But definitely focus on making promises that you can keep. That's the one thing that I would say here. The next thing here is movement. So it's not necessarily a block in a traditional sense because we've got the ship, but the block could be taking the first step. It could also be an aversion to the change, the 6 of Swords energy, which is very much, to me, what I think of and see when I look at the ship here. So these two kind of go nicely together here. So sometimes when we decide to try something new, it requires stepping away from something else. And we had the Death card earlier as well, which is saying, all right, like I said, pruning allows for the growth. So in order to take this portal, we're going to have to take a little bit of a journey, right? And it could be away from what has been expected or what we sort of already know. But I really like your blessings and blocks. And it feels like the theme here is investment or belief, someone believing in you, you believing in someone else, you believing in yourself. And then the movement that happens because of it, and the movement can sometimes make us feel a little bit nervous, a little bit afraid, but it shouldn't. It's part of that sort of overarching journey. All right, I'm going to leave these cards at the top here, and let's just remind ourselves where we're at. I believe we're going to go straight into, let's see, after blessings and blocks. I usually like to go into the elemental forecast, so let's move into the elements. I like to look at this in this order: fire, earth, air, and water. I'm just going to pull a deck that I want to work with here, and kind of, since we've been working with, this is a nice combination of it too. I'm going to look at light seers here. So this is the only portion, I repeat, the only portion of the reading that's going to be specific to signs, and you can use them for sun, rising, moon, and Venus, or any aspect of your chart that you would like. Let's start with fire. So give me a second here to, actually what I'm going to do first, I'm just going to let you see the cards as I pull them, and then we'll go through all the different elements. So let me just let you look at the desk here, and I'll identify each of them afterwards. So this is for fire, this is for earth, this is for air, this is for water. Now we're going to take each one by one. We'll begin first with fire. So for fire, as you can see, it's going to be Aries, Leo, and Sagittarius. You showed up as yourself. It looks pretty good here with the Queen of Wands card. I really like this. The Queen of Wands, what I love in this one is we can see her kind of having fun with her ability to work her magic. So look at her here lifting up that sort of spark. She's almost like a sorceress or a magician, having fun, kind of really enjoying it. We see all the candles there as well. So the first message coming through here is to really focus on finding your spark, finding your power, and focusing on managing yourself. So to all of my fire signs out there, I think the most important thing sometimes is you're a good leader, but sometimes you wish you could show people the right way. Don't focus so much on that this particular week. I want you to instead use your power to move the needle forward for you. Focus on what can I control and affect in my life. Who wants my time and energy? Because when I invest in them and I invest in those projects and those activities, I see a return on it. I'm not going to just basically become a battery for someone else and give and give and give. I need to also receive and I need to see reciprocity. I also don't want to be bossy. It's good to be the boss, but you don't want to be seen as someone who's bossy and always telling or trying to affect what someone's doing in their life. So step back a little bit and be more powerful and have someone come to you if they need to and if they want to. And if they don't, you got better things to work on. You've got a lot to focus on. Really good card for business, by the way. So when it comes to business, management, and oversight, you're going to be able to really get things organized and people will come to you for sure. Just keep an open mind. I love the strong energy and, I love all the King and Queen cards reversed, but one of the sort of caution points on this one is to make sure that you don't shut down, shut out, or outright ignore something that needs to be dealt with, okay? Those are the only tripping points for you. But overall, I like that you came through here. Nice, strong, fiery energy. And also remember that you can do this. You don't really need other people to lean on. It's nice to have, but not necessary, okay? Let's go ahead now and move to Earth. So Earth, of course, is Taurus, Virgo, and Capricorn. Emotions, relationships, creativity, expression, that's going to come through quite a bit. I'll take the lower third off for a second so you can see this card. What I really like with the King of Cups energy here is the ability for you, like we see this cool little starfish, the ability to rebuild. Starfish or sea stars, depending on what you want to call them, they have the ability to repair missing pieces of themselves. So for many of you right now, there is this sort of reparation and this rediscovery of something that you thought was lost, but it's coming back. So lost and found would be kind of like my mini title for you right now. So make sure that you invest in some of that stuff and rediscover some of the stuff that you thought was gone. It's not gone, it's still there. We also see the ship here moving, which was part of the potential block. So your emotions could be blocking you from taking that trip or that journey. Don't let it do that because it feels like you're being led in the right direction. Your court card is in the upright position. And so just keep working your magic and focus. There could also be, we're looking at his necklace here, a Pisces coming in or another water sign coming into your life right now. So go with the flow if that's what we see here. I definitely think this is a great time for relationship energy, for creativity, and for expression. So it's a good week for you from what I can see here. Follow your heart, but don't let your heart block you when it comes to lower frequencies like fear or sometimes just even having that imposter syndrome. You're definitely set up for this moment in time, and you should embrace all the opportunities that come with it, okay? Let's go ahead now and move along to my air signs out there, Gemini, Libra, and Aquarius. There's a lot to do. You're busy. Everybody's favorite card, the Five of Wands. What's cool with this, though, is that you're going to accomplish more than you could imagine. Take some time to make sure that you're resting and relaxing, but look at how high that person is able to reach. And, a lot of fire coming through in this weekly forecast here. But one thing here is collaboration, not competition. So cooperation and collaboration, not competition. That's also a key to success. So you being able to work with, help, or affect someone else, this is just going to bring everybody else into a higher space. It's a team effort this week. And as long as you can kind of see the greater good or that sort of team energy, I feel like you're going to really start to make some positive strides. The Five of Wands does require sometimes a little bit of resetting or grounding in why you're doing it, because it can make us feel sometimes frustrated that, and by the way, I'm just putting some water in this cup because I need something here to drink here. But yeah, sometimes we just need motivation. Why again am I doing what I'm doing? How did I get to this point in time? So motivate yourself and ground yourself in that higher vision, and that's going to be key. All right, let's go ahead now and move on to water. Cancer, Scorpio, and Pisces. It's a great week for you. We have the Queen of Pentacles coming through. Lots of court cards. It was just my air signs that are kind of caught in, I guess, the minutia a bit. But when I'm looking at water, looking great for you. We've got the Queen of Pentacles. So when it comes to business, when it comes to the home, when it comes to finances, I feel like you've got it together. The only thing that we want to see here is to really keep your eyes open. I love that she's kind of going within, but she could be missing something. She could be even a little bit more present. I do love the confidence that exudes from this card, and it kind of makes me smile. With this Queen of Pentacles, a couple of things to be mindful of. Really take a look around your home and your place and see if you like where you're at. Make it feel more at home. Make sure that the people around you, the relationships that matter most, are being also nurtured, because this is house, home, and core relationships. It's also a mother card, so that maternal energy is accessible to you right here and right now if you would like it as well. So you have the potential right now to basically see things start to take root and take hold, and that really does align to what we talked about earlier. Just like reviewing the overarching energy, because we have placements, all of us, usually in most of these spaces. A common theme that I see is power and more power. Most of the elements got court cards. I also see some work that needs to be done, but I think that you're going to be able to manage it. Keep your goals and keep your promises and keep things moving. So across the board, we see like this ability to think outside of the box, passion, the ability to put it into practice, and then also this sort of confidence and Midas touch energy. So nary a bad card in the spread, to be honest. It's really good. So no matter what your sign is this month, I feel like you're trending in the right direction, and it's just about applying the specific messages that we talked about. Okay? So let me go ahead now and stack up all of these cards. And again, I like to just remind us of where we're at. So we just looked at the blessings and the blocks, looked at the elemental forecast. I think one thing that I'll throw out for you really quick is a poll, but I may do it. I think today I'm going to throw the viewers poll to after the special topics so that we can spend as much time as we can on that. So I'm going to flip it because I can, because it's what I do here. So we're going to basically go into the special topic, and then we'll do the viewer's choice afterwards because I'm being guided to do that. All right, so let me just take a look at the cards in front of me and see if there's some decks here that we can vote on real quick. The one thing that I will let you do is vote on a deck of cards. So let's see. So we're gonna do, give me a second here to lay them out. I'll let you vote and then we'll get started. So this is the True Heart Intuitive deck, really beautiful. I'll let that be one of them. If you want to, let's see, what else haven't we done? I know that you guys like this one too. This is Tarot of the Divine. Okay, and let me see. I'll try to pull something here from the archives that you haven't seen in a while. Let's see what could be fun for you today. If you like the Sun and the Moon deck. Let's see here. Oh, okay. We haven't done this one in a while. I'll put the Raven's Prophecy there because I know that's one that you guys tend to like. Do Raven's Prophecy, and somebody asked for this one in comments, so I'll throw this one out as well. We haven't used this one in a while, which is Green Witch. All right, so here's some ones that I haven't used in a while, at least a couple of these. So give me a moment to set it up, and then I'll show you the cards so you can vote. So just a moment here to create the poll. So which deck would you like? And we have True Heart Intuitive. We have Tarot of the Divine. We have Raven's Prophecy. And we have Green Witch Tarot. All right, and I'm going to show you some while you vote. Okay, so as you are kind of taking a look at these, this is a deck by Rachel True. Beautiful sort of cards here. Slightly different interpretation, lots of great images. I like it quite a bit. So that's the first option. Here's the second option. This one has modern retellings of fairy tales, beautiful colors on it as well, unusual interpretations of Rider-Waite-Smith classic. The third one is also very sort of unusual, kind of goes for single images rather than your traditional Rider-Waite-Smith. So this is the one that is definitely the most different. Lots of birds, lots of ravens because it's a raven deck here, but more than just the birds. And then with the Green Witch, very sort of beautiful green and lush imagery here, nature-based, a nice deck that I haven't used in a while. I like all of them, so let's just see which one is in the lead, and we'll go with that. All right. So it looks like Tarot of the Divine is taking the lead right now by a decent amount. So this is the one that most of you seem to be choosing, and I'm going to go ahead and end the poll there so we can get on to the next piece. I'll give it a moment to finish up to make sure that I am correctly reading the poll, and then we'll begin. Thank you everybody for voting. Do appreciate it. And let's double check and make sure. Oh, interesting. Green Witch won. Okay, so give me a second and I'll pull the Green Witch card out. All right. Haven't used this one in a while, so thank you for voting. Okay, so one more time as I'm doing this, this is going to be the special topic, and the special topic today is time traveling telegram. Try to say that a few times fast. Messages from the future you. So as we're looking at this, we want to see everything through the lens of what if I knew this going into it? And the cool thing is you kind of do because we're looking at this in advance, so I'm setting you up for success. I'm going to grab some new cards to refresh some of the other ones on the side because I've been using them for a while. So stand with me or stick with me for a second as I go through Health, Wealth, Love, and Destiny. Kind of get some new ones here. All right, lots to unpack here, so give me a second here to just take this all in. All right, let's begin with your dual catalyst cards that came through today. Catalyst cards for me function in the way of being able to kind of like kick off the action in the right direction. Just like you would kind of think of the traditional word catalyst, it's how to make something happen. And it's also how to stay in the best possible sort of energetic state. So we have the sustainer coming through first. So I want you to see yourself as the one that is capable of moving things forward, making things happen. Your future you is coming through and saying, take care of yourself, but also realize that you have enough internally and up here cognitively to sustain. So focus on being sustained, sustaining yourself, and realizing you don't need to lean on someone else. That's a first message from the future you. The next one is the power energy, and we saw so many court cards, and most of them are kings and queens. So we have the queen card here coming through. Love all the symbology there. I love this sort of, looks like it's a lotus blossom coming up through the mud and all the sort of the pond energy there. So sometimes we have to go through all that difficulty to find our power, and you definitely have earned this moment in time. So much more power than you give yourself credit for. We see the moon behind this as well. Don't be afraid to go after things that you desire. So I want you to listen to your desires and make sure, and your dreams, and make sure that you are taking care of yourself, that you are sustaining yourself. You have what it takes to make this happen. All right. Queen energy, very good when we're looking at tarot, because it's not only an energy that can lead, but it's also one that can nurture, create, and develop. In many ways, the queen cards are stronger than the kings. Don't tell the kings, but that's true because they have that capacity to create growth. So it is all about growth right now. If you're not growing, then what are you doing? Why is the stagnation there? That's sort of like the question that the cards are asking you. All right. Let's move along here and take a look at the overarching spread. Just look at some of what's coming through. We have the Five of Pentacles at the center, which is really interesting. It does look like the energy of I would say money and resources is going into a better direction. We have a repeat of that 7 there, but let's start with the beginning. We have to begin with the Five of Pentacles. So Five of Pentacles is all about self-confidence, and it's also about letting go of the past. You remember when we were looking at the cards for the week ahead that death was there kind of as the gateway card for Monday. In no other card does this one matter more than this, which is what is in the past is in the past, and you are an active creator, participant, and basically conductor of your future. So I want you to expect and demand more than what you've received in the past. We don't want to see that coin purse empty. For some of us, this is of course a figurative sort of symbol where there was someone in the past that either didn't invest equally in us or didn't see our capacity. They looked at us and they thought, you're not the one, or you're not enough. So this card is actually coming through to flip that script, and your future self is saying, you are enough, you're more than enough. But the limitation internally, even if you think you're doing great, there's even more that you can accomplish. So don't limit yourself, and don't accept less than what you should receive. It's also a call to action. If there's anyone in your life that is not getting the support or the respect or the proper treatment that they should, you can come in and balance the scales a little bit if you would like to, or set a better example. But it's definitely about making sure that you're on an even playing ground, that you are getting mutual respect, and that the resource energy is exactly where it should be, okay? So the next card that we're gonna look at on this one is crossing that. So right on top of that, we have the Six of Cups, which can have to do with like key relationships here. So there's a little bit of a karmic lesson going on here. So Five of Pentacles at the center, and then the Six of Cups, which is one of the strongest cards that you could get. But this Six of Cups, the energy that's tempering it, look at the caged bird there, is that there's a chance to sort of like free yourself of something or someone from the past. I normally would love the Six of Cups, but I am not loving the caged bird. To me, that is someone who wants to keep you in a certain place or a certain space. So even when things look really nice, the fact that these two cards are modifying one another, I would say you can't let someone limit your potential because they're afraid of you going beyond them. Unconditional love, this can go for you as well. So let's say you really love someone in your life and you're afraid, like, if I let them go, maybe they'll never come back. If you keep them, you're almost guaranteed that it's not going to develop the way that you need it to. So this is about release and trust, and then if it's meant to be, it will be. The other thing with this is not being afraid to sort of like spread your wings as well. There could be someone new coming into your life, but you're limiting the ability to see that because of someone in the past that didn't show up. So we want to walk away from possessive energy, and also that energy of feeling like everybody, typecasting people, everybody's in that same category. It happened before, it will keep happening. Not necessarily, because we had that beautiful death card at the beginning of the week that basically showed you your power and your ability to reset. So I'm going to pull that up for just a second so that we can remind ourselves. There were 2 cards actually to pay attention to here, which were the cyclical end of something and then the apparent beginning of something new. So if you're willing to kind of like embrace those 2 energies, then yeah, some great stuff is going to come through for you. But you have to embrace freedom, and you have to let go of the past, and you have to demand more. All of these things are kind of important here, okay? Good. Looking at the deep past here, we have the 9 of Pentacles. Just so you can see where I'm pulling the card from, I'm going to be pulling it right from here. So in the deep past, we actually see much more, much work that you've been doing on this. So this may have harkened back to childhood or something that kind of left a little bit of a soul scar. But when I look at your true worth, it's really good. It's 9 of Pentacles. Your head space is still in the recovery sort of energy. But what I'm seeing here is you can totally do this on your own. This 9 of Pentacles deviates from the traditional Rider-Waite-Smith. Normally, we would see a woman in front of, again, some sort of a bush or a tree growing. In this one, though, she's very comfortable. She usually has like a bird or a peacock or some sort of like crazy lavish bird there. She's taken care of, and there's this independence that's coming through. So because some of you may have been kind of on the outside looking in, this can be friends that exclude you, this can be a sibling that excludes you, this can be a parent that excludes you. What you learned was independence and self-sufficiency, and that's going to serve you well. It doesn't mean you always have to do it on your own, because sometimes the 9 of Pentacles can be very stubborn, but know this, you don't have to be destined to pass this on. We see like a new family, a new beginning here. So you are the beginning of a new cycle, a better cycle. So don't worry about repeating your parents' mistakes or your grandparents' or your great-grandparents' mistakes. There's basically a big karmic and ancestral shift that's going to happen for some of you right now. So I guess what the universe is saying here, that's coming into my head, which is why I'm translating it, is like the message is, I release you from that cycle. So you're released, it's done, it's over. You just have to believe that it's over. You may have to say in your own head, I release myself. I release the lesson. Thank you for the lesson. It was a difficult one. I release it now, and I'm ready to walk into a new and better path. All right? So that was the lesson from the past or from karma. We're going to look now at recent past and see what your higher self or your future self has to say. So we have the Holly King here, and this is the Hermit. One thing with the Hermit, remember we had a really beautiful star card. I think it was around Thursday of the upcoming week. The Hermit sees his own or her own value, but sometimes there's a difficulty in letting others see it. So I feel like one of the things here is you don't have to hold back anymore. And it feels like you've done the internal work. It's really now a matter of belief. And that was one of the things that we talked about earlier, was if you don't believe, then you don't see and other people don't see. Also, some of you may just be really working on something important and you're wondering, like, you're just keeping this under wraps. I just am excited for you to kind of step into the star energy and that energy of movement, because I don't want you to kind of have to stay in that Hermit for too long. It feels like that's done. It is in the past. It's not in the future. It's not saying close down, be quiet. It's saying open up. So I think it's time to open up. Okay. Let's go ahead now and move on to the next piece. So this is where your head is at. This is where other people are kind of like tuning into what you have to think, and it's the 7 of Pentacles. 7 of Pentacles is basically recovery and growth and putting the finishing touches on things. We can see this shellac here as he's kind of making these coins, wooden coins, luster and shine. As I said earlier, 7 of Pentacles carries with it a couple of lessons. I'm wiser, I'm ready, and I'm not going to repeat. As long as you kind of live by those little mantras, you're going to be fine. Recovery and growth takes time. And even if you are gardening, for instance, you can only put so much fertilizer before you kill the plant. You can't force the growing. You can only put so much light on certain plants, and sometimes too much will kill it as well. Growth requires a certain amount of time. Recovery takes a certain amount of time. There are things that you can do to help, but if you overdo it, if you go to extremes, you're actually just going to end up taking more time to get where you want to go. So the main message here is to be patient, to be open, and to kind of like walk like Janus and look at both sides. Janus is the god of ends and beginnings and usually has two faces. I'm not sure if it was Roman or Greek. I think it's Roman. But basically, that's what January is named after, because it's between the old year and the new year. So we're in it right now. And so Janus is kind of coming through to say, keep an eye on what you did, but really focus on where you need to go. So use that energy of Janus and focusing a little bit in both, and then stepping through. We're almost in February. It's time to kind of move beyond the gateway month, figure out the path. That's why I was being shown like the highway as I was tuning in for this collective today. Okay. So the next card that we're going to look at is the near future. And we do see movement here, 10 of Wands. So movement is a part of growth. And in order for you to get to the next part of this journey, you need to sort of find that way to get inspired for the final leg of the journey. We see this person, as is often the case with the 10 of Wands, feeling burdened or feeling the sense of labor that happens when we're ready to let something go. I don't often see this as kind of like a birthing card, but on some levels you could see it as that. What I like here with the little squirrel here that we see on the side is that you've built up for this moment. All you have to do right now is to be willing to access that sort of hard work that you've done and let it all come into focus. You've prepared for this moment. It feels to me like there may be something that you've forgotten that can help out. I love squirrels, but a big part of how all those trees grow is they forget where they bury some of those nuts, right? So when it comes to your resources, you may be forgetting or leaving something out. You could make this final leg of the journey just a little bit easier. And when I'm looking at the past here, I think sometimes it's because you're trying to do it on your own. And sometimes it's because you don't ask for what you need. Maybe because you don't want to bother someone. You don't have to strain as much as you're straining. This is a card of straining and stretching, and so is this. So I think that the important thing for you is to tap into what you've built up here. And remember, with the Queen energy, it's the leader. You're the leader. And you have to be able to sustain the sort of activity and the energy that you've been doing. So long as you do this, you're going to be okay. All right. This can show travel and movement. It can also be, for some of you, like that may do seminars or a tour or some sort of a road trip. This is showing that ability to kind of reach out to people. Nowadays, we do a lot of this virtually as well. So you may have to adapt because of the pandemic, but it's important to kind of connect with people, disparate people that you normally wouldn't, to bring it all together. So don't be afraid to do that. All right, let's get into your ego and see what's going on. So we have the King of Swords here. Let's take a close-up look at this card. I like that he's really paying attention to details here. He's been busy. We can see all those scrolls in the background. He's opening up a message here as well. So for many of you, there is this moment in time where people may tap on you and say, we need your advice, or are you ready and willing to do this? I see him opening an invitation on this card and considering it. He doesn't have to say yes. I also see him kind of going into that store of knowledge and using it to really speak with power. It's upright, so we're not so worried about him being too direct or speaking out of turn or anything like that. It's really just saying, again, your future self is coming through. Your future self is coming through to say, hey, this is your moment. Use your words. Don't be afraid to pick up the phone. If someone's acting a fool, let them know, but talk to them. I honestly think that the power of spoken word is better than written. And unfortunately, nowadays, people are so much more comfortable with texting or emailing. If you can talk, it doesn't have to be in person, but the vibration, the frequency is heard. It gets lost in text and it gets lost in emails. This is why sometimes you get into an argument over something that you sent in text or in a direct message or whatever. So using the frequency of voice to bring color and life into things, that's what's going to make things click for you. So if you can somehow manage voice-to-voice sort of thing, whether it's FaceTime, Skype, or whatever your mode of contact is, or if you can talk face-to-face or mask-to-mask nowadays, it's going to be important because it's not so much about the lips moving, it's the frequency and the vibration of the voice. So try to get that in there, and that's going to be important. And keep working, keep doing what you're doing. I like, for many of you that are trying to finish something here, we see all those scrolls, which would be like pages in a book. I see something coming together. So keep on writing, keep putting things in writing, stay accountable to that, remembering the energy of the promise, which is too far for me to reach now, but that ring that we had earlier, very, very important, okay? So there we go. Pretty powerful card here, and you're showing up as being very, very strong, which I like. Let's look at what's going on around you. We have the Nine of Wands card, which it's a good, fruitful card, but it can be a little pushy. It can also indicate a little bit of fatigue. So let me tell you why as we take a look at this. So again, this is in the environment. This is what's going on around you. This could be how you're viewing others or how they're viewing you. So with this card in the environment, I do like that he's a little annoyed on this one too. So usually with the Nine of Wands, you'll see someone that has a Band-Aid or bandage on their head. A lot of times we're dealing with our own mental sort of like blocks there, which is, how am I going to get this done? Why did I agree to do this? Am I the right person? It's those nagging questions. We see like a little fairy here in the corner that is possibly causing some of those thoughts in his head. It's like, when we have the angel and the devil, it's the lower frequency thoughts. I'm using a Tinkerbell thing here, and I like that she's kind of annoyed. Fairies are sometimes tricky energies. So what I'm seeing here is the sort of tricky energy that might be going on in your head. Don't let yourself get tripped up or tricked by that sort of mental thought. I think that's going to be important. I think that with the Nine of Wands, if you push, you'll be surprised at how far you can go. If someone's pushing you, you have the capacity to push back. Always okay. The other thing with the Nine of Wands here is to give your mind a chance to rest, because like with me, I get amazing ideas through dream and sleep, but I'm also very much refreshed the next day if I get enough sleep. So I just think some of you have been pushing your headspace to the point of exhaustion, okay? So definitely focus on that, and I think you'll be all right, okay? Nine of Wands tells me that you're almost through something, so don't give up. I see someone asking questions about interpretation. Like, you can always use your own lens and take this. I'm giving you a guidepost. One of the most important things as you watch this reading is to realize that you kind of need to look at this and then apply it to your life and realize that this part is kind of timeless. The beginning portion, when I look in advance, things may not come to fruition until that day actually happens or that month actually happens. So come back and revisit. I always put timestamps in here, and as you move through experiences in your life, it'll make more sense. So it's kind of like a book. You read it a couple times, you get deeper understanding for why something came up. Okay, let's take a look at what's going on here in possibilities. Two of Wands. It feels like, sorry, let me move the microphone. It feels like for many of you, you just really need to get back to focusing on what's important. If you lose focus, if you lose a connection to what matters, then you kind of start to run. It's like wheels in the mud, right, of a car. You're not going to be making a lot of progress. So let's look at the card upright. We see a couple of frogs on this one, which makes me laugh. And we see basically them leaving home. It's like a fool's journey here. Let's talk more about the traditional Two of Wands, though. The Two of Wands will show someone that's holding a crystal ball or a globe. And there's usually an intention that they see something, or it's like spinning the globe and saying, I'm going to go here. What we see on this one is the journey is already underway, with the frogs kind of leaping to the next destination. So we have a couple of fools on their journey. But in order to take the journey, you really need to kind of get back to basics and think, who am I? What am I trying to do? How do I want to do it? Plan. So if you plan, you will start to manifest. If you believe, you'll start to see it. If you don't believe, you won't see it. If you don't plan, you're going to be less effective at manifestation. And that's the main message here. Don't lose focus. Ground yourself again in why I'm doing this, okay? As we look at your final card here, we have the Battle Wagon, which is basically the Chariot card. The Chariot's in reverse, which can show a change of direction or a change of leadership. So one of the messages that I did pick up on was, are you leading? Are you following? I ask it a lot. That's kind of how Spirit shows me an opportunity. But if you are ready and willing to lead, it feels like you've set yourself up. You've got the star energy. You know what to do. There's just this question of, for you, if you're okay with the visibility, accountability, and responsibility, lots of abilities, but it all has ability in it, to do that, to step into the lead role. So you are able. The question is, are you willing and are you ready? Because everything's aligned to allow you to be that perfect leader, including one of your catalyst cards. So you're the queen if you want to be, but you have to want it. All right, let's go ahead now and take a look at the expanded forecast, which, as I read this, has a slightly different view because we're looking at the special topic right now. So as I look at health, wealth, love, and destiny, it's going to be really, how does this help affect? How does this help bring more of these things in my life? Okay, let's begin with your health card. We have the brown bear spirit here, which is kind of like preaching to the choir. It says, take time out. It is reversed, so some of you are having a difficult time allowing yourself or creating some space to really just relax. And this is in health. So it's not just about sleep, but it's about perspective. And I think this is why some of you are experiencing the distraction that we saw with the Two of Wands. So in order for you to really get into this powerful leadership energy that we see with the Queen, you have to take that break. You have to take a rest. And also remembering that although it's good to do all of this stuff on your own, you don't have to do it all the time on your own. So delegating, saying no, finding maybe a hidden resource, and then just resting and allowing these things to sort of be at play, that's going to be really, really important for you overall. Other messages for health. Again, from a future you, don't push yourself so hard, especially like if you imagine health being like a rubber band, you've just gotten to a place where I see recovery. Don't stress yourself out again and then have to go down that path of recovery. Another card with health is to focus on forgiveness. Forgiveness when it comes to relationships with parents and children, no matter which side of the fence you are, or siblings, because this is a very sibling energy. But it can be children, siblings, parents. It's the core family. So I feel like there's a little bit of repair work that can happen with the core family, whether they're living or dead. Again, I'm going to launch a podcast in the next few months, and I'll talk about how a lot of my relatives that have passed come through and talk to me, and we work things out, even once they're gone. So you can still do it once someone's no longer on the planet. It's just a question of if you're ready, if you're willing to kind of connect with them in that way. So there's definitely that energy. Focusing, of course, on the back. This can be a figurative or a literal sort of weight that you're carrying, making sure that you're not being pushed into carrying that burden. You always get to say no if you want to. So some of these are kind of symbolic messages with health, but they'll help you be healthier and happier, and happiness is a part of that. Ultimately, taking the reins and the accountability and deciding to go for it, I think is going to be important. All right, so those are your messages with respect to health. Wealth, regret. Let's look at this caption real quick, and then we'll talk about it. It says, I know that I cannot change the past. Amen to that. You can learn from. So learn from, don't live in the past. And release the sense of regret. If you need to make amends, do your best. It's always up to the other person to accept an apology. So an apology given doesn't always necessarily take hold initially. But remember what I was talking about when I was mentioning that sort of vine. We're just planting the seeds. So for some of you, you're planting the seeds for recovery. Now, I think the big opportunity for you is self-worth. So looking again at the cards in front of us, especially your center card here, the Five of Pentacles is accepting, it's telling you don't accept less than what you're worth, but the card itself is showing that there's a feeling of a lack of worth. And again, I feel like it was peer or family rooted, pushed onto you for some reason, but you're okay. So the most important thing here is ask for a little bit more than you think you deserve. You're going to be surprised, and you're probably going to receive more than you thought you could get. So I definitely want you to push the limits in negotiations. Future self is saying, you think you're worth this, but you're really worth this. You may have to ask for this. So we're asking for the 9 and we're getting the 7, when in the past you got the 5. So basically that's break even. That's like that's a lot. This is sort of like reasonable, and then there's room to grow. So make sure that you're asking for a little bit more, pushing for a little bit. And I think that's going to be key. You're closer to completing something than you think. You're able to do so much on your own. So I want you now to start to maybe seek out roles where you're tapping into that leadership, as we're looking at wealth and life purpose, and definitely take the reins when it comes to your money. You're trending in a better direction, and you have to stay organized when we look at the Chariot card here. I think overall that's important. Use your voice. So when it comes to making change happen, if we're overcoming regret, or if you're trying to ask for more, the most important thing is to say it, to mean it, to see, hear, and feel the power in your voice as well. Okay? Pretty good overall. And I like that we're seeing positive trajectory with the finances and the resources. And again, there's just this question of, because Spirit thinks you can lead. What's holding you back? Is it just that you don't like it? Or is it that there's a question of, can I be the leader? You can be the leader. All right, we're going to go very sort of symbolic here as I look at love. I chose a deck here that only has images on it, so let me just take a quick look at it. This is about fear and lower frequencies. So we can see this person kind of pulling back. We can see some of literally the lower energy coming out here. So when it comes to love, there is a little bit of pain that needs to be released. But I love the rainbow that's above this person. If I pull it back, you can see that. So have a good cry, or have a good sort of expression of whatever's going on when you say what you need to say to someone that you trust, whether it's a friend, a family member, or someone else in your life. Then there's a release that happens, and it's out. Sometimes just being angry at someone, sometimes just needing to express love, or whatever the emotion is, when we bottle it up, when we hold it in too much, it's sort of like it's not doing anything good. So one thing with the Hermit, sometimes there is that lantern. It's kind of like we need to let the light out. So let this out, express what you need to say, clear the karma, and then we do see a chance for recovery. It's not always fun when you go through that moment of expression, whatever it is that you're expressing, joy, anger, hatred, coming out, whatever it is. But once you've said it, then you can start to rebuild from that. Try to do it from a place of love. Try to do it from an objective point of view. Sometimes people don't set us up for success when it comes to that because they are not in a place of love, joy, or acceptance, but do what you can and know that you're going to be able to move past this. I'm going to quickly look at this from the perspective of different types of relationship status. So focusing first on people that are already in a key relationship. Making sure that you are on an even playing field and getting the same sort of energy that you're putting into it is so important. So again, self-confidence is literally at the heart of the spread here. I do see a chance for reconciliation. I also think that it's good to ask for what you need because we see it coming through here. Let them know what your dreams are, what your hopes are, and then take some power, take some ownership in that as well. You don't have to do this alone. Don't do this alone. You don't have to be pushed into something you don't want to do. Don't be pushed. Speak. Communication, particularly about this and this, they're expressed in different cards, same message. I feel bad about something. You made me feel bad, or you make me feel better. Let's work on this. Whatever it is that you need to express, you have to. And this is in hopes and fears, 2 of Wands. When they see it from your perspective, things shift. So having a heart-to-heart is what's going to be the most important for those of you that are in an existing relationship, and you may need to take the lead. This is what's necessary to sustain a healthy relationship in the long run. So don't be afraid to do it, okay? So overall, I see a lot of recovery, growth, and development for existing relationships, you taking the lead, you not having to carry so much of a load. For those of you that are for those of you that are seeking out a new relationship, it is about coming out of your shell a little bit. Realizing that person might be closer than you think. realizing that you kind of like doing what you do, creating what you do, being strong in voice especially is what's going to be magnetic for what we see here. Many of you have a very high bar of expectation for what you want to call into your life. And so if you do, future you is coming through to say, don't give up. Look, you've come this far and this is what's in the future. This is the environment, this is the future. You're very close to manifesting. So if you give up at this point in the journey, that other person is left waiting and wondering. Okay? Nobody gets to put you in the corner in a cage. When it comes to new relationships, you need to express yourself. It's about expansion. So we need that cage open. We need that cage out of the picture. I don't like that cage. So we really want to see that bird flying free. So this is your chance to be free in love, free to love. Freedom is an essential piece to it. It does look like many of you are busy with work and personal development. You need to work past some of the either familial wounds from the past or maybe financial. This can be financial. I don't always talk about it, but if you're rebounding from finances, it will come back. There was a lot. There may not be a lot now, but we're trending in the right direction. So make a decision that you're ready for the positive growth and development there, and you'll be okay. And when you do that, then you call in a sort of higher person. I do get pushy energy for the next person coming in because Nine of Wands and the Chariot in reverse, just like the Queen of Wands in reverse, can be a little bossy. So this is where we want you to use your voice and find your power and be the queen too. Okay? Queen being sort of a non-gendered card. I'm looking at rank, not so much gender. So that's how I read queens and kings. Okay. And if you're single and happy, I still see some great people coming around you, but they may be trying to fit you into a pre-existing mold. It's such a wonderful metaphor with that cage bird, and you don't have the time or energy to do that. So that's one thing. You may still have to push down some walls. I think that for those of you that are single and happy, focus on school, money, practical arts, development, because there's so much great developmental energy. The next thing is the Eight of Pentacles. You're going to start to see a return on it. Okay? Overall, really great energy across the board, depending on where you're at with your relationships. All right, last card here, and then we'll do the viewer's choice since I kind of flipped it. I thought it would be fun to do it at the end to kind of keep us all awake. So we have Lu, and the energy here is about skill. So the future you, again, is reminding you that kind of like if we went back to my channeled messages this morning, that you already have the key and you already kind of have the skill. You're kind of waiting for the epiphany to just sort of put the two together. So it's almost like there's a bunch of doors and you have this key. You just have to pick a door to put the key into. It's going to work. So put your skill to practice. And if you want to go back to school, do it. But I don't know if you have to, because you may have exactly everything that you need. Do what you need to do to feel prepared, because that definitely is a part of it and to plan. But I feel like you have more skill and power and capability than you're giving yourself credit for, and that's why this came through. Okay? So now let's go into a viewer's choice. I wanted to wait on this one today because I just had a feeling that I needed to see, I want to do like a special topics viewer's choice because it would give us a chance to sort of like see everything from a bigger perspective. So let's look at the cards here and see what's calling through here. So give me a second here. So as I'm looking at all of this here, let's go ahead here and do viewer's choice. Viewer's choice. Okay, again, you can only do this on desktop or mobile. If you're looking at it on a console or TV, you'll just have to trust that everyone else is paying attention and voting. All right, so as I'm looking at this, I really want to work with the self-confidence and self-worth central to the spread here. So self-confidence and self-worth. If you can't choose, just choose one, and a lot of times there's ties. So I will read it if it's a tie of a couple of points. So just go for what you want. And I may choose to read one that hasn't been voted on if I think it's important enough. But I definitely think that's one that's worth looking at. I also want to look at growth and development, since that's really what the Seven of Pentacles is showing us. And then let's see here. Okay, so I do think it's really important to release regrets and see what comes in the stead of that. Release regrets. What's next? Okay, so I'm going to give you a couple moments to vote on this, and I'm going to do a reader's choice, something that I think is important, and we'll move from there. So as I'm looking at all of the cards in front of me, I want to see what you can do to find that missing or that hidden kind of opportunity. So with the Ten of Wands, like I said, as I was looking at the Ten of Wands today, I think that there is something that's coming through where you actually have an opportunity to get further, farther, faster if you just tap into a hidden store, a hidden gem. Let's see what that could be. Two of Swords, interesting card. All right, so while you're voting, let me read this one here. The Two of Swords is a very interesting card because what it's reminding you sometimes is that you may just be wasting or spending too much time what-ifing and questioning. Is this the right place? Am I doing the right thing? What if I do this? A lot of times with the Two of Swords, you simply have to move. Stagnation basically brings about this sort of lack of momentum, this lack of growth. And I think the important thing for you is to realize I have everything that I need to take that first step. I could keep stressing about this forever. So when you stop overthinking it, you actually have more resources because you're not spending them on that. So you may not get the boss, the parent, the friend to come in and say, this is what I think you should do. You need to do this. You may kind of be flying solo on this one and just think, all right, it's that one, and move forward. And that's okay. All right. Let's take a look and see how these are stacking up. It looks like we have a pretty good card, and it's the one I would have chosen too. It looks like it's self-confidence. So let's take a look right now and see. We'll wait for that poll to come in. Yeah, 44% of you chose self-confidence and self-worth. I think you made a great choice with that. So let's give this a shuffle and see the message. Woohoo, great card. All right, so for self-worth and self-confidence, we got the Ace of Chalices, Ace of Cups, which is great. So I want you to give yourself permission to be happy. I want you to have a good time. I'm encouraging you. You can do whatever you want to do. But if you really, getting back to the heart of the matter, which is something we talked about earlier, when you feel it in your heart, when you lead with your heart, when you lead with that passion, then other people are invested, figuratively and literally. Figuratively in like, oh, I care about that too. Literally in, yeah, let's buy that product. Yeah, let's hire this person. Yes, let me spend more time with you. I'm invested in you. I love what you love. I love you. And I want more of what you're putting out there. So you're deserving of love and abundance in the highest forms. That's one of my mantras. But you also owe it to yourself to do something for your heart and for your happiness. All right? Big message, little card. But remember, all these ace cards are kind of like seeds or beginnings. So all you have to do is plant that seed and let someone know how you feel about something and give them a chance to show up. See if they're the kindred spirit that we see here, or see if they're trying to hold you back, because the Six of Cups can go in either direction. We're going to do a final idea, big idea. The big idea card is a chance for us to look at an overarching purpose. And it's kind of like the big so what, or the question that you're afraid of asking. That's sometimes a card that I'll pull. So let's look at what the key is, since I saw that. What's the big key to being successful and happy? What is your future you really want you to focus on over the course of the next week and the next month? Investing in yourself. We have the Knight of Pentacles in reverse. So this big idea is about deciding to take a little pause in the progress and maybe even a little left turn or right turn in the road and say, in this moment in time, I'm actually choosing to invest in myself. I am worth it. And this is a good investment. So this can be time and energy in recovering and going to school and maybe finishing something that you've been putting your hands to, whether it's writing or building or pen to paper if you've been kind of working through some sort of a problem. You're supposed to be working and focusing on something that's going to help you in your foundation. So self-focused growth. And hello, it's the best money or resource card that we've gotten so far. This Knight of Pentacles means that action is proactive and it's going to bring about more action externally. More people are going to come to you. So it's time to invest in yourself. Okay? I don't know about you, but I feel a lot better. That was a great reading. A lot of great energy. You know, we had nary a devil or tower or 10 of swords. Not that I fear those cards, but that wasn't the main message for the bulk of this reading. So that tells me that you're definitely treading in the right direction. And, as we'll take a final look at this before we get into the meditation and final card. But if I just kind of look at the desk in front of us, actually, let's just look at the whole desk here. You have this ability to lead. You've built up a strong store of strength in the past. You're on this path to recovery. The only block right now is how you feel about yourself, right? And you really want to let go of regrets, express what you need to, and just focus on the skill building, which I think is really what that big idea card was all about. Don't put yourself in the second seat or the back seat here, as we saw with the brown bear spirit. It's going to be really important to take time out and take care of yourself. All right, let's move on to the final portion. Before I do that, a couple of quick notes. Again, if you'd like to get reminders of upcoming readings, I actually now post snippets, I hope you like it, on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook. So I take a minute or so and then I post it so you can see what the flavor of the reading is. And I also remind you of upcoming readings. So let me know if you want more shorts on YouTube. That's something that I haven't done a lot of, but I don't want to kind of like repeat snippets there. I would probably do like unique stuff. Anyway, follow me on social if you would like. Please, please, please. If you've never subscribed, subscribe. It really, really does help the growth of the channel. And liking, commenting, and sharing this also helps as well. Thank you to everybody that's been giving back with super stickers and super chats. Special thanks to the members and contributing supporters as well. I'll say special thanks at the end. I just wanted to call you out right now. And then if you want more information, I neglected to put this earlier. So before we meditate, let's go ahead and do that. I'm going to give you a link to my website just so you have it in the future. And this includes a link to all my social media platforms. And there you go. Okay, so we're going to move along now to the meditation. The meditation is 2 parts, so I'd love for you to stick around because at the very end, I do a final card. The final card is a chance for you to ask a question that you kind of have that I didn't have a chance to cover. So meditate on that, if you will. I'm going to give you a chance to pick what I'm going to use to play the sound bath afterwards. But as I'm doing that, I think that the big thing that I'm focusing on right now is this growth, this inner growth. So we want to work on seeing your sort of heart open up and using like green energy. I'm seeing like a field of clovers or something. So we're going to work with a healing meditation to work on self-worth and to heal old relationships. And then we'll get into your final question. So which instrument would you like me to play today? I have 2. I have a crystal pyramid, and then I have a glass singing bowl. Both of them are great. Either one is okay with me. Okay, so I'll let you vote on that, and we're going to get ready now for the meditation. I'd love for you to just close your eyes. Take a nice deep breath. Stretch out a little bit if you're holding on to any sort of pain or discomfort in your body. Just allow for all of that to leave you on each subsequent exhale. If you're holding on to any tension in your shoulders or neck, you can kind of roll them to the side. You can roll your head back and forth a little bit as well. This is more just about opening yourself up, not so much about a competition of stretching. So just open up your energy. All right, close your eyes. Imagine that it's a beautiful spring day. Maybe that you're in the rolling fields of Ireland or Scotland or some grassy place, and you find this field of clover that's blossoming. And there's beautiful honeybees around it, and you find a little spot where it's just the grass and you're kind of surrounded by the clover all around you. So I just want you to lay back for a moment, smell the intoxicating fragrance of all those blossoms, really, really sweet and beautiful. Listen to the sounds of the bees, which are not going to harm you because you're just laying there. You're just enjoying the scenery. So just pick up on their frequency. And as they're starting to buzz around you a little bit, imagine that you can actually feel it in the ground, in the grass, this tangible movement and this buzzing energy that starts to kind of rebuild or restore any sort of fatigue that you might be feeling in your body. So listening to the buzzing of the bees, smelling the beautiful scent of the blossoming flowers around you, I just want you to connect with this symbol of luck, the Trinity as well, being part of something bigger. So see yourself at the center of this Trinity of energy. See yourself as the recipient, almost like a gigantic cup of love and abundance. I want you to think of people in your life that have not been there for you. See them on the outside of this, and actually have two triangles creating a six-pointed star that overlaps. So there's two trinities. You're in the middle of a six-pointed star. You have clover around you, bees around you. And at these different points around you, around the star, I want you to see people that have been important to you, people that have helped you. Further out, see some people who have maybe not been there for you. I want you to pull the people that have been important and been on your side a little bit closer in your orbit, push the other ones out, and let's just take a moment now to say thank you and then dismiss those people. Thank you for the lessons that you gave me. I no longer need those sort of experiences of pain or frustration. I'm ready for more love, more support, and I'm ready for some of those other energies that come closer to me. So see a moving and a parting of the sort of tide here between the not so good and the very good. And I want you now to feel this sense of power, seeing maybe even circumscribed in this a crown. So you have two triangles in opposite positions creating a six-pointed star and this beautiful crown around you. And it's a crown of light or a halo of light that goes up in all directions. So you are holding court, you are calling in higher energies, and you are the source of this positivity. See the beautiful regal gold around you as well as the beautiful green energies, and work with that powerful solar plexus and heart energy as we go into the meditation here. So we're going to do looks like it's a 50-50. I'll do the singing bowl since we don't always get to hear the singing bowl. So close your eyes, relax, and imagine that you're continuing to receive this sort of healing frequency as you meditate. Take a deep breath. Hold the symbol of the crown, hold the symbol of the six-pointed star and of the clover close to you in the week and perhaps the months ahead. And I want you to see yourself as a recipient of love and abundance in the highest forms, of being a creator of the power and the opportunity that you bring into your life, and just being open to seeing what comes through for you. When you're ready, open your eyes, and let's go into your final question that you might have for me. This part is fun. It's basically anything that you want to ask. Hold it inside first and just kind of think about it so I can tune into it and not see it in chat, and then we'll see what it is. All right. So just take a few deep breaths, focus on the question, and we'll see what answer comes through. Okay, this is good. All right, so we have an expansive card here. We have the Seven of Cups. And again, we're looking at the final card here. So with this particular card, first of all, it's a great time for opening up to new things, new ideas, new visions. So many of you are thinking about what's next. So a part of that includes dreaming, kind of like exploring new things. As a yes, no, let's kind of break this down. I would say if you're trying to decide, should I do it? It feels to me like you are not 100% confident on it. You could be sort of at that fork in the road where you're thinking, I don't know what to do. Remember what we talked about earlier. You probably will not get the clarity that you want. Sometimes the more people that we talk to, the more clouded our vision becomes. So I want you to go back into the core of why am I doing this, the Two of Wands. And I just would encourage you to think about, how does this help? How do I feel about it? And what am I really worried about? So I feel like for many of you, just finding the clarity within is what's going to be important. There's also a cautionary note with the Seven of Cups to not spend too much time getting distracted. So sometimes in the sort of roundabout way that we try to look at finding inspiration, we may go to too many sources again. I think this is about narrowing things down a little bit. So you don't need to go everywhere and listen to everything. Just kind of like touch point on a few things and then use your internal compass to make the decision. Keep an open mind. If you're stuck, the idea will come to you. I've been waiting for an idea for the podcast, and it actually came last night, like what my debut thing would be. So I just let it go. I'm like, Spirit, when I'm ready, you'll show me what I'm supposed to talk about. So I just kind of waited for a month or two to figure out what I wanted. Now I kind of have an idea. So you have to just let things come to you sometimes too, and not force it, because creativity and brainstorming is organic. And if we try to manipulate that too much, sometimes it was kind of like in my dreams, I saw that you had to focus in order to fly. And I'm sure like birds know that too. If you're not paying attention, you can hit something, right? So you have to focus in order to fly or get to the next big event or next big thing in your life, okay? So keep an open mind, stay focused, and trust the internal compass. It's going to be really, really important to you, okay? Looks good to me. The other thing for you is it just a little bit more clarity. So if you're trying to start something new, I would say do less and do it better, because this card is one of way too many things, way too many opportunities. So one thing at a time, do less and do it better, and you're going to be happy with that. That, my friends, is the reading for today, for the week ahead. And again, the center portion can be evergreen when we look at the special topic. I hope you liked it. I'd love for you to sort of share this with other people. Again, last time I'll ask for it. Well, first of all, if you want my schedule, it's right here. And I would love for you to show some support here by liking and subscribing. Here are my socials one more time. And all of that information is in the pinned comment. And thank you to everyone who gave back in supers and super stickers and super chats. This is my favorite part. I just want to say thanks. I want to start by thanking my moderators who have been with us here the whole time. So thank you to both Maria and Dakota for their help. I'd like to thank new members that just found me, or new subscribers that just found me. Thank you so much. To all of those that have been with me for 7 years or so. It's good to have you with me, and it's hard to believe when I kind of count the years how long I've been here. So thank you. And especially to contributing and sustaining members, like anybody that has a green text and a little emoji after their name. There's someone that gives back every month, and it does make a difference. Same thing to my Patreon supporters. All right, let's welcome some new members and welcome anybody and say thanks to anybody that gave back. So I'll start with members, anybody that I've noticed in the past day. Give me a quick second here to bring it up. And let's begin here. So thank you so much to Marlene White. Welcome. It looks like you're a brand new member. To Melissa Harding, rejoining after 8 months of membership. I appreciate that. Suzanne Moran, who is rejoining after a month. Good to have you back. Damla, and I can't really pronounce the last name, and I don't want to butcher it, so I'm just going to say Damla. Thank you so much. Brand new member. Amber Pierce, rejoining after 3 months. Conscious Candace, rejoining after 4 months. Clindy Hunter, rejoining after 1 month. Let's see here. And let's see. Okay, then we also have Mendy, and I can't pronounce your last name, so I'm just going to say Mendy. Thank you very much. Brand new member. And I think that's everything. Everyone else, I've actually saw at the last reading. So thank you so much to the new or the rejoining members. I appreciate it. And now to anybody that gave a super sticker or super chat, give me a second here, and we'll say thank you. And I do appreciate it. By the way, as you can tell, I put a lot of investment in the channel. So thank you. The reason that the setup's so good is because of all of you. So I appreciate it. I go right back into the channel. Wendy Wright, thank you for kicking things off today with the $20. I appreciate it. And Adele as well with $20, Adele Brisky. Cass Darrow, thank you very much. And Sita Marley. Yas, great name. Thank you for the $9. And Institutionalized 88 for the 10. Shelby B 2023, thank you very much. Megan D, Farine, K Ross, Robin Redman. Let's see, CMTM. Ashwini Salur, thank you. You're following D2, thank you very much. Mary Jo Poole, Michelle Buckoff. Let's see, is it Dre- Drevabes, I hope I said that correctly. Thank you. Wendy's Workshop. AB. Damla, again, I appreciate the second contribution as well. Janice Semper. ZM, thank you very much. Cindy Toshik. Carla Alexandra. Let's see, Phoebe Alona, thank you as well. Melanie Schaefer. Jessica Young. Monica Barroso. Kathleen L, thank you. Craig Malpas. Christina, thank you. Fab OG42. KCF. Sunny. Let's see, Kathleen L, Jesse Lou, Michelle Deploy, Missy Kavanaugh, I can't pronounce the last name, but thank you very much. Kathy Aaron, Melody Jones, Lois L, Charlene Fox, thank you so much for the 50 there, much appreciated. Sarlor 7, AB again, Jeannie Hart, Lilia Castro, Leonie Leung, thank you. Regina, thank you so much for that 50, I appreciate it. Marilyn Bernier, and Holly Reed. Lots of names to kind of get through there. So thank you so much. Let me see if I missed anyone. Sunflower, thank you for that final $2 there. Alexa Byers, Crystal McKnight, and I think I got everybody. Thank you so much. That really does help. And again, I'll continue to invest in cards and equipment and doing extra videos. You allow me to do all of that and launching the podcast, which is something that I've been hoping to do. So it's coming. I'll let you know when it's coming, but now I have to kind of like pull it all together. But I have some ideas now, and just like your 7 of Cups, it takes time to pull it into completion. Lots of love and light, everyone. Have a great day. Thanks again for being here. Please come this week and take a look at the readings that I'm doing. I'm going to be reading for Capricorn, Aquarius, and Pisces on Monday, Thursday, and Friday, also at 9 a.m. Pacific. And of course, I'll be back next weekend for a Sunday collective that's starting about half an hour earlier, just as a heads up, but I will remind you before then, so don't worry. All right, everyone, take care. Lots of love and light, and thanks again for being a part of this. All right, everybody, bye-bye. Thank you.